Hey, it's the start of a new year, and I think let's start off with 25 frugal tips that actually work. I've had a 50% savings rate for like 5, 6, 7 years now, and so I've learned a lot on my minimalism, frugal living journey. So I just want to share some of the advice that I've learned the hard way through the years, and maybe you can just kind of shorten your path on your frugal journey. So this all comes down to financial goals, and I want to be debt-free someday. I want to be 1 month ahead on my bills. I want to have a healthy emergency fund, and I want to be able to buy investments. So that's kind of the why for me. Everyone should write down their why. Why are they working through frugality or minimalism? What are their financial goals that they want to achieve? Because a lot of this can feel like a grind at times. So I think you need a why to come back to give you that motivation and that resilience to keep going. First up is a 10% savings rate is not enough, I don't think. I think anywhere between 25 to 50% is what people should aim for, because 10% is just going to get you to have barely enough when you're 60 years old. But if you want to actually be ahead of your peers and have more flexibility and not be tied to your job forever, at that 25% savings rate is when things really start to increase. But if you can save half of your income, so every year you spend what you save, more or less, you can get way levels beyond. Within 5 to 10 years, you can easily become a millionaire, because within 5 to 10 years, you can just leapfrog ahead. You can have way more freedom and flexibility in your life. Second tip is I think you should save all your extra income. So maybe you work overtime, maybe you have side hustles, maybe you have some rentals. All that extra income, I think you should put into savings. Ideally save a little bit from your day job too, but if you're doing any side hustles, instead of thinking of that as spending money, I think you should think of that as savings money. For me, I saved all my overtime money for like 5, 6 years, and I put 100% of that into the stock market, and that's grown a lot now over the last 5, 6 years. Another thing you should do is automate your savings. So I think it's really crazy if you grind your way up to $100,000 in savings and then look at a compound interest calculator of contributing nothing, how that can still turn into $1 million someday. Or if you grind up to $1 million, which sounds crazy to some people or may sound believable, it's crazy how that can turn into $2, $3, $4 million in the future. So I think it's really important to automate your savings, to set up retirement accounts, so then you just don't miss the money. It's not relying on you depositing it every month. And then someday you can wake up and have 10 grand or 100 grand or $1 million in your retirement. Another thing to understand with the frugality journey is like there's seasons of life, and it's okay to not YOLO and live it up in your 20s or 30s or 50s. When you have that mindset, when you think of it more like a challenge, it's not that big of a deal then. And maybe you just have a season of frugality of I'm going to get ahead and get debt free, or pay off my car, or pay off my medical bills, or save up a down payment, or save up an emergency fund. Those are all seasons of life. And when you get things taken care of earlier in life, it just makes later in life easier, you know? A frugality lesson is that you can nickel and dime yourself to being poor. Everyone knows this, but you can nickel and dime yourself to being debt free, or to having an emergency fund or a house down payment. And for me, I nickel and dime myself to rack up a high credit card bill, but I also nickel and dime myself to having savings. I just deposit $20, $50, $100, $250 into my savings. I'm never waiting till I have thousands and thousands of dollars. And so maybe some people are, but for me, I just don't get paid enough to do things like that. Another frugal tip here is you're capable and I'm capable of learning things. If you type in YouTube, how to fix a toilet or how to lay flooring, like there's 10 videos you can watch. And if you spend 1 hour watching 5 to 10 YouTube videos on how to replace a toilet or how to lay flooring, like you're probably going to be pretty decent at it. Be willing to learn things and try things. The first attempt doesn't have to be the last attempt. So hopefully that's obvious. Next is that you can negotiate your bills, your insurance, your rent, your cable bills, your phone bills. A lot of those things you can negotiate. So just try to negotiate all your bills. And if you get 1 or 2 of them lowered rate, like that's a huge win. This one's huge. Next is paying off debt is a huge raise. For me, I've never really gotten a huge raise in my life, but when I paid off my truck and I had a $500 bill and then I had a $0 bill the next month, I literally got a $500 raise overnight. And then when I started house hacking and I used to pay rent and I no longer do, that was like a $1,000 raise overnight. When I paid off my student loans, that was like another $500 raise overnight. Don't forget that when you're paying down your debt, someday that's going to be a huge raise. Then you can divert all that money or half of it or some of it over to savings and investments. And that can be a really powerful wealth builder, is just maintaining your same lifestyle after you pay off your debts. This one's kind of funny. I think we all know this too. When you go out to eat, if you buy drinks and appetizers, it's double the cost at a restaurant of just going out and drinking water and having no appetizers. I think that people don't appreciate if you get chips and salsa, which is good, and a pop or a beer, it ends up being double the cost when you add in the tip and all that. So if you can go out to eat and drink water at the restaurant, like it's going to be half the cost. So that's a huge, easy win. And then embrace no buy days, no buy months, no buy weeks, no buy years, where you just focus on only buying the essentials. And so I like to do these on occasion as a little challenge to quick pay off something or to save up for something. So I think if you just have that fun kind of challenge mindset, then you can not deprive yourself of the essentials, but just live without the nice to haves for a short period of time and then move on with your life. This one's just my own opinion, so some may disagree with this, but like I think it's easier to be frugal in your 20s when all your peers are generally broke than it is in your 30s, than it is in your 50s or 60s. And so don't try to live it up too early. I think you should try to be frugal longer than you even need to be, but pay off your debts, build up an emergency fund, and then live the rest of your life. But don't live it up in your 20s so then you're just like struggling to keep up the rest of your life. That doesn't make any sense. This one's shocking to me. The next level up in life is not 10% more expensive. It's double the cost. It's 100% more expensive. And I'd love to have a little bit nicer house and a nicer car than a Toyota. Really, I don't need it and I don't want it that much, but it's literally double the cost. It's insane. And so I have to make double the income to afford that. And it's just ridiculous. So I'd rather just have kind of more average levels things and not worry about double my expenses. This one's super annoying to me. Quality is a real thing. And I used to buy the lowest quality, which ended up just turning into having to replace it. That annoys me more than anything. So now I try to buy quality things, and it's real. Unfortunately, you do get what you pay for most of the time. Obviously, there's diminishing returns as you go too high up. Buy quality of what you need, of the essentials. Forego not needing everything out there. Next is use tools to your advantage. And maybe that's ChatGPT, which I think is awesome for writing professional emails, stuff like that. Maybe it's buying power tools. Maybe it's renting trailers or specialty tools at your local rental shop. But like, use tools to make your job easier, to make your DIY projects easier, make your life easier. They're out there, and a lot of them are not that expensive. So just try to use the tools that you have to shortcut things. Here's another one that really annoys me. Buy clothes that fit you. And so like, I'm tall. I need tall size shirts, which is annoying. I used to always just buy stuff that when I stretched my arms out, it would go halfway up my forearms. And now I just have clothes that fit me. And I wish I would have just done this years ago. Instead of buying a ton of extra large t-shirts, I would have just bought a few size large tall t-shirts. Everyone needs a staple set of clothes that actually fit them. I find that annoying personally because it's required me to spend a lot of money in the last couple of years, but it's actually worth it. But here's a big kind of hack though, is you can buy secondhand. So for me, I know that I need a size large tall. Eddie Bauer has those. I like to shop there, and they have these big sales every year at Christmas. I think you could shop sales, you can shop secondhand once you know the brand and the size that fits you. I don't wear a ton of dress clothes. I know my suit size, and I've looked on eBay. You can buy a lot of suits on eBay for like $50. So once you know the suit size that you are in a brand, Calvin Klein or Brooks Brothers or whatever, then you could shop on eBay and just get killer deals. Obviously, you can go to Goodwill, stuff like that too. Next, I think you just need to really prioritize your health. It's like, would you rather spend money, vegetables, fruits, protein powder, some supplements, or doctor and dentist bills? So I think it's just really important to prioritize our health, and that's obviously including your diet and exercise. So maybe you need running shoes or knee braces or a gym membership, but don't skimp out on those things because later in life you're going to have to spend the money on doctor bills, which would be way more annoying and way less fun. Next is driving a paid off car. Huge hack. Once you no longer have a car payment, that $500 per month, you can divert that to investments, and that can grow for just a few years, and then you'll be able to buy a new car in cash a few years later, and then go another 5 to 10 years without having a car payment. I think that's a huge hack, which is very similar to house hacking, living in a duplex, which often you live for free if you own the duplex. That just allows you to invest your whole mortgage payment or your whole rent payment into investments, which is a crazy hack, and it gets you super far ahead, I think. Another hack is buy local Facebook groups. So I think there's a lot of Facebook groups out there in local communities where they just buy nothing and you just swap and trade clothes or moving boxes or stuff like that. And I think it's pretty easy to save a couple $100 by trying to barter on a buy nothing group. And lastly, I don't know why this was such an epiphany to me one day, but like, get a library card. They're free. It's literally free books. I have, 100 books that I've paid for. That's probably thousands of dollars, which is crazy. Where I literally could have rented 90% of them from the library for free. So a library card alone, if I would have used it more, would have saved me thousands of dollars by itself over the last few years. I'm definitely glad that I bought these books, but I also kind of wish I had the thousands of dollars and could have just passed the book on to somebody else back at the library when I was done with it. So these are my top frugal hacks that I've learned through the years of a minimalist lifestyle. Drop a comment down below. What are some of the frugal hacks that you found most useful? Thanks all.